What's going on, everyone? Healy here, and today I'm going to give you 10 players that I would love to see in MLB The Show. These aren't going to be obvious picks. These are going to be guys that are somewhat under the radar. So if you guys have other suggestions of who you want to see in MLB The Show, let me know in the comments section down below. But I tried looking for guys who had pretty good careers that I don't see their names mentioned enough when people suggest names to be in the game. I'm going to give you one player at every single position. So all the position players, a starting pitcher, and a relief pitcher. I hope you guys enjoy it. If you guys do, make sure you click that thumbs up button. It's the best way to show support. Hit that subscription button if you're new and enjoy the content. Make sure to check out the description down below. You can find my podcast, my Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, whatever down below. We're starting off with the catcher position, and I'm going to go with Joe Mauer. Pretty obvious choice, I'd say. Catcher position throughout history, kind of weak, but Joe Mauer, lefty bat, that's the big key to him. One of the best hitting catchers of all time, and just having a lefty behind the plate helps out a ton. All great catchers they're most of the time right-handers. There are some switch hitters, like you could get Victor Martinez in there as well, but Joe Mauer, he'd be one of the best, and the lefty bat helps out. So he won an MVP once in his career. He finished with a 306 average, 827 OPS, 124 OPS plus. He did switch to first base in the back half of his career, so we could potentially see him with like a signature card and he gets first base eligibility. That would be cool. But most likely his MVP card would be the correct card to put in the game. He finished with 28 home runs, the most he had in his career there, 96 RBIs, a 365 average, 444 on base, 587 slugging with a 1,000 plus OPS. And at catcher position, come on, that is gonna be awesome. He only struck out 63 times, so you know that vision and contact is going to be up there. Next guy I'm going to go with is Derrick Lee. He'd be a very solid card to have in MLB The Show. First baseman, very stacked position already, but I had to go with my guy D. Lee. If he had to get a specific card, probably a 2005 Silver Slugger, won the Gold Glove that year as well. And you could have made a case that he should have deserved the MVP award over Albert Pujols that year. He finished with 46 home runs, 50 doubles. He just finished a hit shy of 200. Only struck out 109 times, walked a decent bit, finished with a 335 average, 418 on base, 662 slugging, with a 1,080 OPS. Could give him a prime card, I'd say. He did have a stretch there where he had 31, 32, and then the 46 home runs, but Silver Slugger card would be awesome. At second base, surprise, I don't see more people mention this guy, Jeff Kent. Potential Hall of Famer, should be in the Hall of Fame, I'd say. He has the hit totals. He's one of the best hitting second basemen of all time. He'd probably have a great signature series card. He had a 9-year stretch where he averaged 28 home runs a year. He had a 296 average, 529 slugging with an 895 OPS. This guy would just straight up mash for you. Defensively, he wasn't terrible. He had a bunch of positive years early on. He only had a bunch of negatives towards the end of his career, finished with a negative 0.1. So his fielding would be very serviceable, and he could potentially play third and first base as well. Over at third base, we're gonna go with Dick Allen. Rest in peace, Dick Allen. This guy played for 15 years, smashed 351 home runs, finished with a 912 OPS in his career. This guy's just straight up balled out. The card they'd probably have to give him is either where he finished fourth in the MVP voting in 1966, where he had 40 home runs, finished within 1,000 OPS, batting 317, but most likely his MVP card. He had 37 home runs, led the league in RBIs, led the league in walks, 308, 420, 603 to lead to a 1,023 OPS. He did play first, and left field as well. This guy would probably just have maxed out power. At the shortstop position, I would love to see Miguel Tejada in the game. Yeah, it's going to be a little bit odd trying to figure out what his correct age is for what year. That doesn't matter in MLB The Show when you have specific cards. This guy was an Iron Man. He played 6 straight seasons, didn't miss a single game. And in that stretch, he averaged almost 30 home runs. He averaged just under 30 with 29 point whatever. He had a 300 average, 351 on base, 501 slugging, 852 OPS. In that span as well, he was a positive defender. So you just know he'd be amazing on defense and with the bat. He did win an MVP and completely stole that from A-Rod. That's a whole nother story for another day. A-Rod, though, definitely should be in the game sometime soon. Left field, I'm gonna go with my boy, my favorite player of all time, Alfonso Soriano. Where is he, SDS? I ask for him every single year. This dude had a 40-40 season with the Nationals in 2006. He also almost had one early on in his career in 2002. He had a 39 home runs and 41 stolen bases that year. Just missed it by 1 home run. There was a 6-year stretch in which he averaged almost 37 home runs a game at second base. If you give him a signature card, he could play left field as well. And since he stole a lot of bases, he's gonna have the speed. This is a super, super underrated card, and more people need to get behind on the bandwagon. So he gets inserted in MLB The Show. He'd be so good. You can't forget his stance and his no doubter celebration. Oof. Not necessarily a center fielder, but an outfielder I wanted in the game, Brian Giles. So outfielder his whole career, had a stint with Cleveland, Pittsburgh, San Diego. He had a 4-year stretch in which he averaged 37 home runs. He had a 309 batting average, 1,000 OPS. You could give him a prime card, and this would be a great bat for the outfield. Another good thing about him, he's a lefty. We always love lefty bats in the game. Gives you multiple options. Defensively, might not be the best out there. Might have like silver fielding or somewhat, but you'd get this guy for the bat, no doubt about it. For my right fielder, we're going to go with Bobby Abreu. One of the most underrated players in MLB history. This dude, all he did was reach base. He finished with a 395 on-base percentage, 870 OPS. This guy was awesome. Didn't smack too many home runs throughout his career. Did have a career high one year where he finished with 31. And also a sneaky good tip about him was he stole quite a bit of bases. He finished with 400 bases in his career. So he would have some speed on his card. Defensively, wouldn't be the best, but the speed should be able to help him in that department. Moving over to the pitcher. It's gonna go with the starting pitcher first. Now I want J.R. Richard. This dude pitched with Houston for 10 years. All he did was deal. Pretty much got robbed of a Cy Young towards the end of his career. In 1979, finished with a 2.71 ERA, 313 strikeouts. Did pitch 291 innings, but man, he led the league in strikeouts, hits allowed, and strikeouts to walk ratio. He was able to strike out 300 guys in a season twice. I'd just like to see his stuff in MLB The Show. And then finally with the relief pitcher slash closer, I'm going to go with Houston Street. This guy had a funky motion throughout his career, so that's a big tip from him. He also had many great seasons throughout his career, which he had a lot of saves. One of the best closers in history. Underrated closers as well. He finished with 324 saves, which ranks him 19th all time. I feel like he doesn't get talked about enough, but that's my list of 10 people I feel like should be in MLB The Show and that are pretty underrated. If you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you click that thumbs up. Best way to show support. Hit that subscription button if you're new. Enjoy the content. There's gonna be 2 videos on the screen right now. One of them is my most recent video. The other one is a random one. Check them out if you have not already. Anyways, this is Sealy. I'm out. Peace.